So this is the self-development with tactics. Book.
Good morning. This gonna be about, I guess, Amazon and BEZOS? Let's see. Fuck. Woo! Woo! So hello and welcome back to the next episode of the Self-Development with Tactics podcast. And this is actually the first thing that I'm doing today. Actually making the episode and recording it. That's, incredibly early. But I want to be as fast as yesterday because actually today I actually didn't get up too late. I think it was 10 o'clock. So basically, normally I would have been awake for 5 hours then, which is then a lot. In 5 hours you can definitely do just a lot of things. Which is one of the reasons why I do quite not like to just get up so late. It kind of feels for me so unproductive. And so therefore, I'm just trying to be as productive as I can so that I do not feel bad. Because this is actually truly something that I feel bad about when I do, I'm not productive all the time. I do have to be productive all the time or I'm just really gonna not feel good. Which is also something, sometimes that's pretty fucked up, to be honest. If you're really just, in your train and you've had an 11 hours of school day, and then you feel like, you have to do something, and then you start doing something, and sometimes it actually comes to the point that, you do something that's quite unnecessary, and then you practically are wasting time only for the sake of feeling productive. Something you should not do, I guess. But yeah. Let's see where I have stopped, or we have stopped actually, because we, can't see it. Can't still see it. Now I can see it. Because yesterday, which was the last episode where I've recorded this one, because I'm actually doing now 2 episodes a day because I have my vacation and so on, which is great. But I actually decided that I'm going ahead with BEZOS principles, which, basically means quite what, why BEZOS is so great, or how he got so great and what his qualities are and characteristics and whatsoever, that we can learn something from that. So me and you. Because I don't know shit. Which was actually something that I realized yesterday. Because yesterday I was just watching a little bit of, Gary Vee videos, as quite always when I'm doing something, whether it's working, whether it's just being outside. I just really like to have positive voices in my head, in my ears, quite all the time. And I totally just, notice the difference when I'm not doing this, to when I'm doing this. And so therefore, I just really have to point out way more that I do not know that much, because it somehow can feel a little bit cynical for, especially older people, whether it be 50 or in the mid-30s, when an 18-year-old guy just tells them something on Instagram what they should do. So therefore, just, pointing out, okay, I've got this from this person, or I've heard this in this podcast, or I've read this on this article, might be a great thing, and might also just, move people, even more to do something that they've read on your Instagram post or in your article and whatsoever. Because then they know, okay, it's not from that dude. They know, okay, that's from a man that's actually achieved something. So yeah, because I just went through a little bit of this to actually see if it's long, if it is enough. Therefore, oh my god. BEZOS principles. Where is it? There. BEZOS principles. The customer obsession is the first point, which is totally true. he is obsessed with his customers, or obsessed actually, which is great at my point of view, because you can totally notice this. The last time where I've actually noticed this was yesterday, because yesterday I checked my bank account and I've seen if everything is okay and what the money is doing and so on. And then I've noticed, okay, somebody stole, quote unquote stole, quite euros of mine. And then I've seen, okay, it was Amazon and Amazon Prime, because I have forgotten to actually cancel the subscription of Amazon Prime, because I once did it kind of accidentally, because I thought I need to buy some new headphones, because I thought my old ones were broken. The funny thing then was that on my way home, just where I was going home, or when I was going home, I actually thought I'm gonna use the headphones anyway, because I want to have some positive voices in my head or in my ears. And then I noticed, fuck, they work. And I just before in school I actually bought the new ones, and and then for the free shipping, because they were somehow not able to get free shipped, I actually took Amazon Prime with it so that I get the free shipping. And then I had to cancel it yesterday, and I actually got my €8, or actually also dollars, back, which is totally great. You get your money just back. Very, very great. And and I do think you can also just send back all the packages and all the products you got from Amazon. So I think it's incredibly good what they do in terms of their customers and how they deal with the customers. Actually, should I? Yeah, this should be a little bit nicer, isn't it? Even though, it is way nicer. Even though it is pretty close to the border, and as you know me, I hate this. And which is actually one of the things why I do not like to go through the paulminus.com website on my phone, because it is so fucking narrow to the fucking border of my phone, or to just the phone like a frame, and which is incredibly disturbing. Incredibly, if you do not have enough space so that you can actually quote unquote breathe. Yeah. Then, right now speaks the designer in me. But the second one is, or something that's kind of below the first point, customer obsession, is leaders start with the customer and work backwards. They work vigorously to earn and keep customer trust. Although leaders pay attention to competitors, they obsess over customers. Actually, something I do think I've been gone through in a rework summary, where there was quite, telling me about, or telling you about, actually not being too, quote unquote, obsessed with your competitors. Like, not always watching your competitors and not always watching what they are doing, because you somehow could just get caught up and actually just, giving more attention to your competitors rather than your customers, which is something that you should not do, because your customers are your oxygen, in my point of view, because your customers bring you the cash and or the money, and the money is just something you need as a business or need as a company or whatever. So therefore you just need your customers, and you just have to take care of your customers, and you have to make a product that your customers like. Whether you like it or not just doesn't matter. The thing is, your customers have to like it. In my point of view, I've read it just really, really often. I've read it just so incredibly often that it's just in my mind. And the problem there is to somehow just kind of explain the first point that I was making in the whole video, which was that I actually have to point out more that this information is not particularly from me. I do believe in the things that I'm reading and I'm saying. So therefore it's difficult. Even though I haven't had a company, or even though I haven't had a product or whatsoever, I quite know, okay, if you take care of your customers, then your business is great. Because it's, for me, it just makes sense. But yeah. So he's definitely obsessed with his customers. So early in Amazon's life, a publisher executive is angry at Amazon customer reviews, suggesting Bezos doesn't understand his business, doesn't understand his business is to sell books, not trash them. Bezos disagrees. We don't make money, we sell things. We make money when we help customers make purchase decisions. Yeah, makes sense. And actually, I do have to point out that I kind of found this very, very just interesting that Amazon actually bought all the books that they sold initially half the price, or for half the price, which is definitely way less than just, all the other people have to pay for their things. And I do think or I thought after I've read this, if they actually then sold it for, 60%, or just to have a little bit of a margin, or if they actually just sold it for the same price as they would just had to buy them. But I think definitely a little bit cheaper, because then people wouldn't have bought the things online, but went to just a shop or just a bookstore and bought it there. He edits press releases, speeches, and shareholder letters to remove anything that does not speak simply and positively to customers. In 1996, on sharing customer data, Mr. Bezos knows his customers will erupt in outrage if he turns over their files to other marketers. The web, he notes, is the ultimate word-of-mouth medium. If someone thinks they are being mistreated by us, they won't tell 5 people, they will tell 5,000 people. Which was something the Wall Street Journal published somehow. In 1998, Amazon rolled out a comparison shopping feature so customers could search for any product even if Amazon didn't carry it. This was eventually axed since executives disliked having customers leave, but today Amazon still allows ads for outside retailers wanting to build a trustworthy reputation. And this actually reminds me of something that Gary Vee is often talking about, which was so incredible for me. It was really fucking incredible for me. The first time I've heard this actually, because it was in a podcast, I thought wow, it is true, but you're fucking destroying your whole business somehow. But it makes sense, and it feels good to do, what he just suggests people to do, which was, he told a story where he was selling his wine. If you do not know, he initially owned a wine store, first of all, his father owned it, and then he owned it somehow, or he just was the CEO of it, or just managed it and, did all the marketing and whatsoever. But once a customer came up to him and asked him, for a certain wine, I guess, or just for a suggestion of him, he actually told the customer that he should go to another wine store because they themselves aren't selling such a good wine that could make the customer happy. And this was just amazing for me, because you just actually tell your customers to go to another company, but this just, you lose a lot of money. And he could have, made some money by just, selling him something. The problem there is, if you really take care of your customer, you would totally tell them, okay, please go to another store because they have a better product than we have. And I think that's okay, because you're taking care of the people. It just feels great for me, and I think it also just feels right for me. It doesn't feel right for me if you just sell them something just to sell them something, even though they maybe wouldn't be that that happy with it. But yeah, let's move on. Let's move on with this great summary. So early on, Barnes & Nobles was the giant that promised to quash them. Bezos told staff, "You should wake up worried, terrified every morning. But don't be worried about our competitors, because they are never going to send us any money anyway. Let's be worried about our customers and stay heads down focused." Totally great. I now feel my voice getting a little bit open. I often kind of get in the mood or get in the stage of speaking like this, kind of being a little bit, with our breath and without the whole volume I could use through my whole body. Actually, if you're interested in the topic, voice and how to use your voice and how to speak and how to just, use it, I actually made a video on this featuring a book by, I do not remember him, unfortunately, but it was quite a great book, and it was quite interesting to see how you could actually use your voice the quote-unquote right way. I do not think there's a right way, but it was a good way. And so maybe you just type in voice and my name into Google, because I'm not going to just, somehow link it. Maybe I will just, the first thing is how to pursue people using a system and mainly your voice, which was actually not what I was thinking about. But maybe when I just go to videos, how to use your voice correctly. This should be it. And if it is a second episode or the first episode, because I do think it was more than, or was it? I don't remember. It could be like, I've made 2 episodes about it or 1 episode about it. And then it should be the, not the next episode, but the episode after the next episode on my channel after this certain video, or the same exact thing before it. And then okay, this was the first one or quite the second one. But in negotiating with Toys R Us in 2000, BEZOS made a show of keeping one chair open at the table for the customer. Quite great, really great. So new product ideas need to be written in the form of a mock press release, starting with what the customer would see and working backwards, which is basically the thing that I often hear also in terms of, actually Gary Vee telling me this, which is it re-engineering? No, it's not re-engineering, but something with engineering, which basically means that you set your goal and then just re-engineer or engineer backwards what you have to do now, or what you have to do tomorrow, or what you have to do in the day, that you actually somehow get to your goal, in a certain or not certain amount of time. When a user gets an embarrassing email about sex lubricant, BEZOS is willing to shut down the entire profitable email channel. We can build a 100 billion company without sending out a single fucking email. Wow. It's just amazing. He really takes care of the customers. And I think he still does it. And I think you still can feel it. And this is also incredible. It is such a big company with so many employees and so many customers that you totally still feel, okay, he cares about the customers. And he cares about what they say, how they feel, and whatsoever. I wonder if they have a great support, even in my country, or even with the German one, because Austria themselves or itself doesn't have an Amazon page actually, because we all have to go to the Amazon.de, which is the German page. It uses its massive power to cut better deals with suppliers, hurting their businesses, but in the belief that low prices make products more affordable to Americans. Huge ambition and scope, moonshoot approach, which is quite the second point about what his quite principles are or what his characteristics are. And then the first thing of huge ambition scope is thinking small is a self-fulfilling prophecy, which is a quote of him, I guess. Leaders create and communicate a bold direction that inspires results. They think differently and look around corners for ways to serve customers. From what the fuck? Initiation, BEZOS imagined an everything store where the entire Earth's catalog was accessible to anyone. It's not still there, I guess, but it will be. Yesterday I actually talked about them selling trips, like, vacation trips and whatsoever. I think it really doesn't take a long time until they actually sell these things. And actually boats and, planes and whatsoever. I guess this all will come. And I'm totally just really interested in what he's going to do, because he's into just voice, and voice seems to be the future. I don't know. I only hear Gary, all the time talking about this. But I don't know if voice is really the future or not. I don't know this shit. So when hiring Walmart distribution executive Jimmy Wright in 1998, Bezos wanted a distribution system 10 times larger than it currently was, not just in the US but also the UK and Germany, and a system that will handle everything but an aircraft carrier. Wow. In the toy season in 1999, Bezos insists on spending $120 million to stock every toy imaginable. They eventually end with a lot of surplus inventory. Yeah, I guess so. So when building the AWS S3 system or service, Bezos said, "This has to scale to infinity with no planned downtime, infinity." Sorry, I'm gonna read this just incredibly great now. This has to scale to infinity with no planned downtime, infinity. Like this is right. Oh god. Brad Stone, "The future of the company becomes easy to predict. The answer to almost every conceivable question is yes. Will Prime become same-day shipping? Yes. Will Amazon one day run its own delivery? Yes." The third point is the boldness, I guess. Or it's just another point of his scope, but with another points below it quite. The boldness. Bezos says, "Physically, I'm a chicken. Mentally, I'm bold." In its first letter to shareholders, "We will make bold rather than timid investment decisions." To eBay and Amazon board member Cook, "We are going to win, so you probably want to consider whether to stay on the eBay board." Whether to stay on the eBay board. Yeah, makes sense. I do think, Bezos is the CEO of Amazon, right? Because it would be interesting if he wasn't the CEO, what the actual CEO just is making, quite through his job at Amazon. Because this is the funny thing that I'm quite often talking about, that Tim Cook actually is only an employee at Apple. I guess. He maybe has a lot of shares, I don't fucking know, but he's making 18 fucking millions a year. 18. And this is just amazing, isn't it, for just being quite an employee of a company. Yeah, you are number one. That's, for sure, but you have to be like, if he is making as number one 18 million a year, then theoretically, I'm just assuming now, number 18 would just be able to make $1 million a year, which is totally a lot, which is, how much is it? Is this right? Nah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which would be $83 fucking $1,000 a fucking month. A fucking month. What is he doing? What the fucking hell? 18 million. Is he making 1.5 million a month? What the fuck? What the fucking hell? Just imagine making 1.5 million a month. I do not know if he's actually getting, this paid, or if he has a lot of shares, or if he gets equity in the company, whatsoever. But it is still a lot. Whether he gets it as cash somehow, or as he just gets it as shares, or whatsoever. Breaking away from tradition, innovation. Leaders expect and require innovation and invention from their teams and always find ways to simplify. They are extremely aware, look for new ideas from everywhere, and are not limited by not invented here. As we do new things, we accept that we may be misunderstood for long periods of time. Pensions for doing things as they always have been done, without reasoning from first principles, are rejected. People who insist on this don't last long. I always hated this. I really always hated this. Sorry for actually not showing you this. There it is. I really always hated it. I cannot tell you how much I actually hated this. People actually telling me, okay, you have to do it like this because it has always been done like this. Total bullshit. Really total bullshit. Why would I do things because some people tell me to do them because they were done just all the time like this? Doesn't make any fucking sense for me. I'm just doing the things like I either want them to do or how they're working the best for me. Why would I do some things that aren't just working out for me in this some kind of way, but still just, do the exact same thing in a just, why wouldn't I do it in my way if it is just working fine for me? I've never quite understood this, but I can't actually give you an example where this happened to me, but I often do things somehow in another way than it should be done, because I feel like, this is working better for me. So why should I just do it in this way or that way or whatsoever if I could do this in my way? But yeah, sometimes you cannot do anything against this, because maybe you do also have not the quite... I quite remember an example, I think, which was basically... we in school, because we are a graphic design school and we also have to just go through analog printing techniques, which would be with copper. You basically just... how should I actually explain this? You actually just somehow... You do not scratch the copper, but you actually take pieces out of it. Do you? Or do you actually... or do you? No, I think you just scratch, the whole copper, and then you basically put paint on it, and then you print it. Somehow. And then other techniques like, I don't know, with wood, or with some kind of a plastic, and all these things, and with what is it called? Silk screen printing, yeah, sure, silk screen printing, which was great, which was incredibly great, which was actually, I've printed this t-shirt with it, for a kind of event. It didn't work out like I wanted it to work, to be honest, but it is great. It's great to have, somehow know how all these old just printing techniques, worked and, whatsoever. And then, one teacher always tells me, okay, you have to do it like this, or you have to do it like that, or whatsoever. And I always kind of feel like, I just want to do it my way. Can't I do this? And the problem there is, even though I'm thinking like, I want to do this my way, quote unquote, my way, I don't have any experience in this space. So maybe what she's saying is just, how it worked for her, or how it just worked for a lot of people. I don't know, because I do not have as much experience as she has. And this is then another problem. If you are in a space that you're not quite knowledgeable in, and then you just make decisions or just make assumptions, dangerous. In 1997, BEZOS wanted to conduct annual reviews of advertising agencies to make them compete for Amazon's business. A marketing executive explained the industry didn't work that way, and he didn't last long. And BEZOS called Amazon the Unstore. Unbounded by traditional retail rules, it had limitless shelf space, personalization for every customer, allowed negative reviews, placed used products right next to new ones, and so on. Amazon considered minimum advertised price (MAP) to be a relic of old business. It violated this by hiding prices in a shopping cart and allowing third-party sellers to list lower prices, leading to a torturous relationship with Wusthof. Is WUSTHOF. As a company grows larger, it starts viewing its own internal practices as tradition. BEZOS dubs this the institutional no, or internal resistance to unorthodox moves, or unorthodox moves. He asks each director to share an example of the institutional know from her past. And longtime CIO Rick Dalzell, he's bound only by the laws of physics. He can't change those. Everything else he views as open to discussion, which is totally great. And if I've got the right information out of it, he actually asks how the staff is doing and how the people who are working for him are doing, how they are feeling about certain things and whatsoever. And I think this is great. And I really somehow hope that I will get in the position of actually having my own business, even though I'm quite actually pondering around with myself at the time if this is actually something for me, or if I'm just more like an artist, more like, someone that is just doing things rather than having a business. But I do somehow hope that I will come into the position and actually just know how this is feeling. Would actually be very interesting. Something that I think a lot of people won't have the opportunity for, to actually have their own business and see what this is like quite. And yeah, this is quite it with the episode. I do hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've got something out of it. This was actually one of the greatest episodes I had in quite a long time, to be honest, because everything worked out, everything was fine, everything quite went fluently. I liked it. I really liked it. Yeah, I wish you the best health, wealth, happiness, and success. And still do not forget to think about how you're going to be remembered and giving back to the people, because this is important. So, and basically also about your legacy. And with this being said, hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you today, maybe, or tomorrow, or yesterday. Haven't seen you yesterday? Never mind. I'll see you.